The Knicks postgame show is presented by Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. A great game tonight in Philadelphia. Jalen Brunson, 8 of his 38 in the OT. Josh Hart, spectacular again, his 5th triple-double of the season. He had a career-high 12 assists. This one to Mikal Bridges that iced the contest for the Knicks, who prevail in overtime without Karl Anthony Towns, who missed a game with a sore thumb, 125-119. Great to have you with us, everyone, from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito along with Wally Zerbiak. Bizarre but true. It was a wire-to-wire game for the Knicks. They never trailed. Yeah, it was tied a bunch, but the Knicks never trailed the entire game, and they were perfect in the overtime. 5 of 5 from the floor in the OT and 5 of 5 from the line in the overtime.
Just a riveting basketball game. It seems like when these two get together, just like the first-round playoff series last year, it is a lot of fun to watch. Tyrese Maxey is electric. Jalen Brunson elevates his basketball game against this team, Philadelphia. Contributions all over the place. No Embiid, no Karl Anthony Towns. Guys got to step up, make shots, make plays. Knicks, I thought, gave Philadelphia a second life by turning the ball over up 2 with 7 seconds to go in the game, and then Maxey gets it to overtime. And if you're thinking home team, you're thinking, we did our job, we got it to overtime, let's take care of business. But the Knicks would not have it. They just dominated that OT session, like you said.
Knicks actually had a 5-point lead with 1:26 to go, but again, some problems down the stretch in crunch time allowed Philly to tie it. Fourth quarter began tied, and well, it ended tied.
Listen, this is good basketball back and forth. The Knicks were getting loose balls. I mean, how clutch was Josh Hart? Huge slam right there to get the Knicks a 2-point lead when the game was tied. There were 5 ties, but Philly could never get the lead. That was when the Knicks were up 5. I thought a challenge might be smart to maybe keep the game at a 3-point lead, but now it's a 2-point lead. There goes Brunson, gets that pull-up, 109-105. This is the turnover, up 2. Loose ball, Paul George gets the timeout. So now Philadelphia has a chance to tie, and they do. That was a good call, goaltending on Achua. Still 3.2 seconds left. I'm surprised Brunson couldn't get his hands on the ball in this situation, but OG gets a decent look. Can't get it to go off the force, so we are going to overtime, Bill, and overtime, no worries. Pito put the nitroglycerin pills away.
I was totally
Jalen
tonight.
Brunson
Stop with this.
Knocks in the 3. Knicks were dominant on the defensive end of the floor, too. How about the minutes by Precious Achiuwa? Precious Achiuwa and Jericho Sims were ready with no Karl Anthony Towns. Big buckets in overtime when the Sixers were doubling Brunson. Everyone was making plays. Josh Hart here, Villanova to Villanova. Take that loss with you, Philadelphia fans. That was a big-time performance by this New York Knicks squad. This team is gutty. This win can spark things. These are the type of wins you got to get when you're 5-5 in your last 10 games.
All right, you look at the numbers, Knicks. When they win, they tend to shoot well from downtown. That was the case. They won the rebounding battle, and they got excellent bench play tonight from Deuce McBride and Precious Achiuwa. Bridges, Brunson, and Hart, all the guys who went to Villanova, all the guys who have ties to the Philly area, all 3 played really well. And Brunson now, Wally, over the last 3 games, you ready? 44 points, 31 points, and tonight 38 points.
Does whatever it takes. That's what the captain does. He elevates his game when his team needs it. He helps will his team to wins when they're struggling. And this was just an incredible performance by him. He loves the matchup against Philadelphia. He did this last year in the playoffs, did this last year against Philadelphia in the regular season. And there's something about that feeling when you're in a building that you're comfortable. That 3 came back in a vengeance tonight. Knocked down 3s all over the place. He really looked, he almost got the dunk there. He's looking up like, I just missed it. He's going to catch some flack for that in the locker room, but he looked spry. He looked springy. He looked quick. You know, he's dealing with that calf a little bit, but to me, it looks like he's moving very well. And one thing I noticed about Jalen Brunson now compared to the beginning of the season, when he shoots that floater, he does not miss that floater. There were a couple times in the beginning of the year where he was missing shots. I was like, those are ones he always makes in his sleep. But now all those shots are going in, and his numbers are just skyrocketing.
Also helping his numbers, no Karl Anthony Towns. You think Brunson says, okay, no cat, I got to score?
Absolutely. Cat makes it a lot easier on the offensive end of the floor for everyone. You don't have to be as aggressive if you're the point guard. You got to make sure Cat gets his touches. He's such an efficient player. But as a team, as a collective, like Tom Thibodeau talks about, everyone needs to step up to pick up for Karl-Anthony Towns not being in the lineup, and everyone did.
And how about Josh Hart?
Oh, goodness.
Another triple-double, his fifth. If you want to count double-doubles, he's now got 21 double-doubles on the year, matching his total for the entire year last season. He's phenomenal. His numbers tonight, Wally: 10 points, 17 rebounds, and a career high, as I mentioned, 12 assists.
I don't know what the Knicks would do without his rebounding, honestly. His rebounding is the most important key, I think, to this whole entire team clicking and being successful, because he gets every loose ball that he is around. His hands are so quick. He is just the ultimate glue guy, Swiss Army knife, whatever you want to call him. How about that block on Paul George, by the way? Paul George is 6'9", Josh Hart is 6'5", and he blocks Paul George at the rim because he just wants it more. Every loose ball. This was a huge play in the game, right to Josh Hart, leads to a dunk, just willed his team to a victory. He is having a career year. I say it over and over and over, and he just elevates the bar on how good he is and how great his career is going to be.
Remember, he's 6'4". He's grabbing 17 rebounds in this game. Just phenomenal. A season high in rebounds, and I mentioned tying a career high with those 12 assists. Monica McNutt helped call the game on ESPN New York, the radio broadcast. Monica now joins us. Whoa, what a game to watch in person, huh?
That was a lot of fun. And Pat and I on the radio, we kept saying this is definitely reminiscent of last year's postseason matchup between these two teams. Even down to that last play that got, in regulation that is, that got Tyrese Maxey free going into the backcourt. We've seen that before. And then, of course, we've seen the Knicks respond in kind. I thought they did a great job. They started that overtime period 4 of 4 with high percentage opportunities. Jalen Brunson hit the big three. He almost hit a crazy behind-the-back, step-back crossover 4-point play. Y'all, I know we're in Philly, but if that shot had gone down and been a 4-point play, I really think the lid on this joint would have popped off.
Yeah, Monica, no Karl-Anthony Towns. Precious Achiuwa was phenomenal down the stretch and in overtime. What'd you think of his play tonight?
I literally was like, oh, he's a half a second late on this block, or else it could have ended at overtime, right? Or at regulation, I should say. But I think Precious Achiuwa, this was a matchup that I thought would be good for him in terms of him being able to use his natural gifts and abilities, his foot speed, his length, being able to be wiry and finish in the paint versus the bigs that were available for the Philadelphia 76ers. So that was a big 10 points from him, big time on defense. The energy, helping create second chance opportunities, and being a part of that bench unit that scored 29 points. That is fantastic from this big squad.
And Monica Mikal Bridges, second straight excellent game after the shooting woes. 5 of 10 from downtown, finished with 23 points, and he was huge in the first half with 16.
You know, Pito, I knew the shooting woes were going to come up. And so I asked Mikal post-game, and I even told him, take a deep breath. I want you to give me an answer that is rational and not huffing and puffing post-game. And I asked him, look, the shooting woes are a thing for you, but your last 2 games have been fantastic. And I thought he gave a great answer. And Wally, I'm sure you can attest to this. He told us, look, I've been in the league for a long time. I've made shots, I've missed shots. I know that comes and goes, but I trust my work. He's like, I'm not really tripping about it. Everybody else is tripping about it. And that is what you saw tonight. You saw a guy catch the ball in his shooter's pocket, go up seamlessly, knock down a bunch of threes. What's the official count tonight? Knock down 5 threes and have a highlight dunk in the end of regulation to help his team get a really good win on the road. And so, yes, it's something that we watch because we all got our analytics out and our stats when we're watching the game of basketball. But sometimes you just got to keep hooping and trust your work. And I thought that was a great answer from Mikal.
All right, Monica, have a great trip home. We'll talk to you on Friday night.
Sounds good.